And we are live. Greetings and salivations. I'm Unthoth Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and you are listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question, what the hell were they thinking? On our panel of experts, we will have Gwendy, who is our resident taste testing expert, 3-time champion at the Olympiad, as well as Kekistani, who is the writer and author of the book 101 Things You Can Do with a Fondue Pot and a Glass Case Full of Live Bees. We'll be starting off with Star Trek Star Trek Discovery. I'm going to rant about it a little bit here because there's something that I think the writers on the show missed that's very fundamental to the series. I don't know if anybody ever read the book Midas World. I think it's one of the best books ever about a post-scarcity society. What humanity becomes once you no longer have any need for food, clothing, shelter, and you can just magically have anything you want produced for you. When you have unlimited power, robots who can do your every whim, and replicators that can just print out whatever you need with a beam of energy, what happens to society? Now, Star Trek does not go the same route as Midas World, but there have been over time many different attempts to describe what a post-scarcity society would be. And Star Trek has been pretty consistent. Before replicators, humanity's kind of on the rough side, you know. But after replicators, after unlimited energy and all that techno-science BS, people mellow out and become pretty nice people. That's their theory on how things work out. My problem with Star Trek Discovery has been they're writing it like they assume the world is still pre-scarcity. They've got the replicators on their ships. We see it in the show. We know they've got antimatter drives. They can fly faster than the speed of light. They've got everything they need to be a post-scarcity society. And yet the scripts are written in a way that basically assumes that people are still bastards and are going after each other. It's subtle. It's there. I mean, I'm going to save everybody the examples. But in my opinion, I think that's the main fundamental flaw. That's the reason why Star Trek is so upbeat. It's because there's no real want. Everybody's doing what they're doing because it's the right thing, not because if I don't do this, my children starve. And it's just disappointing to hear, you know. I've got a different video I'm going to do to tackle the actual last episode that I saw, but I've still got to edit that one. But this is just something I want to bring up because I didn't want to re-edit the whole video. I'm halfway through. Any comments before we move on?
I have to ask, because I'm really not a Star Trek person, what is a replicator?
Oh, okay. It's this magical device that you go up to and you say, Earl Grey tea hot. And then it goes, woo. And wow, there's a glass of Earl Grey tea and it's hot. Or you could go, I would like a t-shirt. Or you could go, I would like, I don't know, steak. And then
Can it create live matter?
It can sort of do that. It can do really simple live matter like plants. It can do organic matter, but when it tries to make something that's alive, it always seems, anything with a nervous system, it seems to break down. That's a person
or something.
Yeah, that's an in thing.
Okay.
Now they also have what are known as the hollow suites, where you go in and it creates a hologram with force fields and all this other stuff, and uses the replicator technology to basically make whatever worlds you want. And it comes, so like that's the other part of it. Like I saw somebody do a great series of stories about, the janitors for the hollow suites and what like people leave behind when they use these things. And I'm like, that's a good conclusion from it. But overall, the conclusion is whatever form of entertainment you want, we'll make it. Whatever need you basically have, we can produce it. So what kind of society does that make? Oh, hey, it's Fedabub. What's up? Or
hey, I'll be in for a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little late.
Oh, no. Take your time. Get whatever's ready. We're just ranting a little bit. But when you have a post-scarcity society, I understand. I accept a lot of the social justice bullshit that they put on the show, because that was part of the argument. They're going, well, it's always been social justice. No, it's always been social justice with the premise that humanity has all their wants and needs fulfilled. So there's no penalty to, like, you know, being nice to people. You know,
there's a penalty to being nice to people?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, no good deed goes unpunished. You've never heard that phrase?
I've heard the phrase, but I was grown up with the concept of kill everyone with kindness. So I go throughout my entire life making sure that I am kind to everybody because that's the way I'm supposed to be.
And you never ran into anybody who took advantage of you because of that?
You don't want to hear the stories. But that doesn't stop me from being kind.
Well, I know, but that is the point, actually. That is the point. I'm sure that you watch for people who are trying to use you, correct?
Well, of course. I have to be wary, but I should still be kind.
Well, yes, but in a post-scarcity society, people don't need to use each other at all. Oh, no, I need to borrow $20. No, why do you need $20 for? Well, I wanted to get some, I don't know, pot. Okay, well, just go over to the replicator and say, pot brownie, please. you know, or technically,
why are these things not real?
No, if you wanted to, you could replicate your own spaceship if you just had enough time and effort. I mean, that'd
be cool.
Like, you can just sit there and get the parts and build it together like a kit. So, like, when you've got that, nobody needs to be an asshole. Nobody needs to use each other. Nobody needs to be a predatory. Then at that point,
I mean, in essence, what you're saying is that there is no needs. There really is no need or no want, because you have this thing that can literally create anything that you could possibly want or need. You're right, essentially. There's no need to use anybody for anything because you can get it with no problems.
Now, that's my problem with STD. In the show, everybody still acts kind of like they're users. They are acting like they're in the 20th century when they're in the 22nd or 3rd century. Like, they're 200
and they have these replicators.
Yeah, and they have unlimited supply. I mean, then they've had it for a long time, obviously, because I'm like sitting there going, wow, they're using it casually. So this has got to be around for at least 20, 30 years. And it's not supposed to. But that's my problem. Like, they keep for a show that's set in the past of the Star Trek shows, that's set in, it's a prequel. It sure has a lot of super advanced technology that they didn't have in any of the later shows. And if you have more advanced technology than ever, you should be even more, past post-scarcity. But they keep writing everybody kind of like it's before that. And it's subtle stuff, but that's just my opinion on why it's annoying, is because they're pushing this agenda, but they're not including the same premise, which is everybody has whatever they want. So, we can be as socialist as we want because it doesn't matter, because we can print an unlimited amount of Fig Newtons.
Right. Is it like a technology that's readily available to everybody? It's not something that only a few people have?
In the show, everybody's got it. They got it in their apartments.
Oh, well then what the shit is that noise?
Well, that's just wanted to bring up. I didn't want to have to add this to the other video I'm working on, where I sum up everything else that's wrong with it. But I just wanted to bring this up real quick. Also, way too much gore. There are literally piles of mutilated bodies in episode 3.
Ew.
Literally piles. There's a leg in a door that keeps trying to close. And I'm like, wow, it's Star Trek Jigsaw.
That's why you said that.
Oh yeah, there's just so much dead bodies, and they stole a monster from Dungeons and Dragons. I'm looking at it and go, wow, that's an annihilator. Wow, they got an annihilator. Why are they using an annihilator? That's like from Underdark. It's an armored, rust monster. It can eat through metal, and it's running around. Dear Jesus. And of course, and I'm like watching it and going, and of course the bad guy's going to capture it and put it in his menagerie to turn it into a super weapon or something. Oh, look, there it is. There it is.
Ta-da.
That's the other thing. The show is so predictable. Like, I could have wrote it. I could have wrote it myself.
Well, I mean, most shows are predictable at this point. It's just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a lot of, well, I mean, that's why I don't watch any show, really. They've all become infected at this point. So, and I will say even this: I like Rick and Morty, but and there's a strong undercurrent of SJW there, but they don't bash you over the head with it. You know, it's kind of like in the background. They're
cannot
subtle
get into
about it.
Rick and Morty. Oh.
Yeah, it was better 2 seasons ago. This last season, it's neat. It's an interesting development, but you can see that the writer has been like losing his mind. And in fact, if you look at some of his videos where he discusses the show, he goes on full-blown rants about like Nazis. I mean, you're like looking at him like, whoa, do you need to be committed and have a couple of months in a psych ward? Because
break.
Like, everybody's a Nazi. If you're a Nazi, you're going to die. It's kind of like shitting. If you don't shit, you die. And so if you're a Nazi, you gotta say you got a Nazi, or you're gonna die because you didn't shit. I'm like, that is like the conversation almost verbatim. And I'm like, Harmon, what the fuck, dude?
Wow.
Whoa.
Sounds like he needs a Snickers.
He is not okay.
The man needed a Snickers, no doubt about it.
He needs a Snickers.
It's like, dude, you were making a nice show. You dumbed it down for the audience so you can get more people, and then you started on your ranting about how if you're a Nazi, it's like you can't crap and you have constipation. I mean,
in all fairness, I agree with that, but that just seems a little bit wacky.
I was so non sequitur. I was like, is this performance art? Are you like quoting an episode from season 4? I mean, because this is so complete non sequitur. I just can't get it. But anyway, that's pretty much my rant about TV shows. Anybody else want to bring anything up?
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Hold on one sec. Just checking to see if I'm better than you is wanting to jump on. At any rate, let's get on to the actual topics then.
Yay.
Oh crap, it didn't, it saved wrong. Oh, well, I had the complete list of Nobel Peace Prizes. I was going to go over it after this last one. I don't know if you know, but there was a group that got the Nobel Peace Prize because, I think it's ICANN or something, because they managed to convince 122 nations to sign a treaty that says they will never research nuclear weapons. Of course, every single nation already doesn't have nuclear weapons, and none of the 8 nuclear powers signed it. But apparently that's enough of a thing that they got a Nobel Peace Prize for it.
They hand those out now.
Here's what I have a problem with. Actually, all said and done, nuclear weapons have probably saved more lives than anything else ever. Because it was estimated it probably cost about 2 or 3 million people to invade Japan. Dropping those 2 bombs did kill 202,000 people, but it probably saved millions of Japanese lives. And you know for a fact that if there weren't nuclear weapons, Russia and America probably would have been back at war by, within 10 to 20 years at the end of World War II. But because both sides were terrified. Yeah, but now admittedly, we could die at any moment, but basically the world goes up. Everybody dies. Rocks fall, everybody dies. So there's no real way for anybody to survive a true full-out nuclear war, so nobody did it. I kind of get the whole nuclear weapons are bad, but unless you have a way, even if we could get rid of all of them, I'm not sure if I'd want to, because then it would make it easy to go to conventional war. It'd be easy for different armies to fight, because there wouldn't be that whole, but if this gets too out of hand, everybody dies. So I'm not sure if giving, and then if you look back, they've been giving out Nobel Peace Prizes to like Obama, who's like committed more assassinations than any president ever.
Okay.
Well, every drone strike that he signed off on personally is technically an assassination. So yeah, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, come on. But then they also, like, for this one group, for their fighting against chemical weapons. It's like, did you get rid of all the chemical weapons? No. Then why are you giving them the prize when it's like only halfway done? It's kind of crazy.
Right. Well, it's kind of like a participation trophy.
Yeah, it's a social justice participation trophy at this point. Thanks for trying to make the world a better place. What you were talking about made a lot of sense to us. Here's the money. I mean, in my opinion, the Nobel Peace Prize has become a joke. It really has. The last 4 or 5, that's wanted to bring it up, but I can't find my copy now. I'm just going here. Why did they get this? Why? But that's how they roll over there. Any comments?
Just
well, you go ahead.
I'm gonna say it almost doesn't really matter. When you think about it, the Nobel Prize, whether it be for peace, science, whatever, it's kind of gone from being something where people who strive above and beyond. Now it's more of just like, oh, you did something that really wasn't that difficult, that either kind of already has been done before or really didn't make a difference. It's kind of it's almost more like a virtue signal than anything else now.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling at this point. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. I mean, they can keep doing it. I don't care, but it's not like it's my money, but I don't know. It's just really sad. It used to be like they would go and find the people who did the difficult things, the people who were unsung. And now it's like, oh, here's somebody here's a whole organization. Who cares? Like, this does not inspire me at all. Anyway.
Like, for me, I understand not wanting to have countries research nuclear weapons. Like, I get that to a point, but when doing that kind of stuff, don't you end up with a lot of other research in, like, other areas that end up improving society? I mean, for example, like, with like, when you look at, like, World War II and all the crap that the Nazis did, while, yes, a lot of things they did were absolutely freaking terrible, there was an awful lot of medical advancement that was done because of it. And that kind of concept, I almost feel like it's not necessarily bad to research nuclear weapons as long as you don't use the stupid things. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
I'm kind of with you because we wouldn't have the ion drive, which I've looked at what they've been working on. I'm like going, wow, that thing may actually like really allow us to get around the solar system. I wish we put a lot more money into science and space research because there's always this bleed down to society from all that research into space tech. But yeah, nuclear weapons too, because nuclear weapons require to go into space. I mean, a lot of many scientific advancements we rely on nuclear power. So
excuse me.
Whether or not anybody else needs to research it at this point, I don't know if it matters or not, but it just sounded like a BS thing to me.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to Puerto Rico.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I just got to admit, this picture that I'm looking at, it just explains the whole situation down there. I know you guys can't see it, but if you look up the big tech has big plans to help reconnect Puerto Rico, there's this picture of a street in Puerto Rico where there's 1,000 power lines just hanging over everything. What? Like, I'm surprised how people can walk down the street without going up in flames. Probably because every power line is dead and there's no power going through. But thanks to Facebook and Google, they are setting down their connectivity team to get Puerto Rico hooked back up to the internet.
I don't think the internet should be their main concern at this point.
Well, the main concern isn't necessarily the internet. It's more being able to reach, like, family and friends, because there's a lot of people who haven't been able to reach anybody down there, and that's terrifying. I mean, if I couldn't get a hold of, like, my mom or my dad for extended periods of time after going through such a terrible calamity like a flippin' hurricane, I would be super concerned. And a lot of people are worried. So putting some sort of connectivity down there, it makes some sense on some level.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. And they're going to be going down. They're going to be bringing their Wi-Fi balloons with them. The only problem is that...
Wi-Fi balloons?
Yeah, they're going to be... It seems like when you look at their actual plans, it looks like they're going to be pretty much focusing on the cities. It's like, that's not where they need the help, dudes. It's the big problem with the island.
They do.
I mean, they've got tons and tons of supplies. They've got lots of food, but the problem is they can't get it out of the airport. If you're not within walking distance of the airport, they can't get stuff to you. Although I did want to bring something up. I don't know if I believe Puerto Rico is about $70 billion in debt. And Donald Trump wants to wipe that out. He wants to go, $7 billion, not that big to America. How about this? We're going to rebuild your country and we're just going to take the debt. We're just going to pay it right off. We're going to start you off at zero. Part of me is like going, wow, that's really magnanimous of you. Part of me is also along the lines of, they'll never learn their lesson if you bail them out. I'm kind of mixed about it. I'm not sure how you guys feel.
Well, okay. Well, how do I want to word this? So Puerto Rico, you said it's 70 billion in debt?
Oh yeah, they over $70 billion. It's the reason why they can't rebuild. Nobody will loan them money. Nobody.
Okay. Why are they in so much debt?
Because they have free healthcare, they have free education, free college. You're not allowed to evict somebody if they can't pay their rent. They have so much regulation that basically every business is destroyed. I actually talked to somebody who goes through my the program here at my job, who was from Puerto Rico, and she said, everything's, to get your car fixed, you got to go on the black market. And I go, wait a minute, there are black market car mechanics. And she said, yeah, because if you're a real car mechanic, they will take so much money, you cannot afford to repair people's cars. So
they're overtaxing businesses to make up for all of these free social services.
Right. And it's pretty much all Democrat, even though the party isn't technically Democrat. They're just left-wing liberal Democrats. Socialist. They're commies. They're commies at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
And they made communism and socialism aren't the same. Don't do that.
Okay, I got it, but it's close enough, for my opinion. And they just keep making these promises and promises. And the repairs on anything would only happen after something broke. And then it would take a couple of weeks, maybe months. So if your sewer line went up, they just shut down your sewer for a couple of weeks until they could get around to it. Everything was redlining. There was no maintenance. There was no infrastructure backup. They had basically done what they had done in New Orleans, which is, yeah, they said they did all the necessary maintenance and repairs, but when they actually went back and did the audit, guess what? Nobody actually went out to the levees to maintain them. That's why they collapsed. It's kind of why the reason everything imploded. Their system could take no stress, and when the hurricane went over them, boom, everything went down. And
it was also a Category 5 hurricane. Come on.
Well, yeah, but there is no redundancy. None. They've actually got the power plants up and running. There's no power lines anywhere to connect those power plants to anything else. Everything went down. Every power line. Right. So, I mean, that's incredible. But that's the situation. So they, in order to keep going and keep their promises, they just borrowed more money, and kept kicking it down the road. And that's how they got $70 billion in debt.
But they also have a smaller population with not a lot of growth, right?
Yeah, they have no growth either. That's the other part. They've got nothing to tax. And so everybody, but the problem is that, like as she said, it says everybody goes there, enjoys the free healthcare, but the healthcare sucks. You're almost better off not going to the hospital anyways. And then you wind up, you go to college, you get your degree, which is actually, the education's pretty good. And then everybody leaves. Because there's nothing to do there.
There's nothing there, right. So essentially what they need is something to bring people there to actually make them stay that would help stabilize their economy. And it sounds like the biggest issue is that they are overtaxing without any way to stabilize their economy.
Yeah. And overregulating.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, that'd be like overtaxing would be the same concept.
No. Overregulation is different than overtaxation.
Fair enough.
The issue is with, and this is an issue with socialism and just a heavier government, just kind of from a libertarian's perspective. When you have a large government that provides so much, which not necessarily that those services are a bad concept to do, cheap or even free, quote unquote free, I guess it's a public healthcare, public education. Those are all good ideas, especially, towards a better future, a brighter future, but you need to have a lot of infrastructure and a really good economy and a really good population growth and just economic growth that's steady and sustainable to do it. A lot of places will engage in a lot of places will engage in socialism in order to provide. Oh.
No. Go ahead. I want you to finish your idea for the audience.
Okay. A lot of places will engage in socialism to try to provide those ideas, but the other thing is they do it at the cost of also over-regulating business and overtaxing to pay for those services they try to provide through socialist ideas. And the issue is, essentially, in order to have vast socialist programs, a lot of public programs, you need to essentially have a very low regulated market in order to ensure you generate enough tax revenue to fund it.
Gotcha.
That's the issue. You have, and a lot of times you get one or the other. You either get a government that's a complete skeleton that also has hardly any regulations or taxes, where it's essentially closer to anarchy, like minarchy, or you end up getting these gargantuan governments that not only do they tax heavily, but they regulate heavily to the point to where a lot of business, a lot of necessities, a lot of searching for goods, a lot of markets go to the black market where you can't tax and you can't regulate, so you're pretty much wasting your time. And that's where you have these big this is America's problem. That's why we're in such an amount of debt too, because we have so much overhead that we're trying to cover, but we won't stop writing new regulations, writing new taxes, increasing taxes on everyone. And it's why if you want to have a socialism, you need to have a little bit of economic anarchy.
Well, to defend the current situation, Donald Trump did pass that law that requires that for every new regulation that any federal government passes, they have to eliminate, I think it's like 3 or 4. So they.
I don't know if I like that.
I like it. That's some Jesse Ventura shit. I love it.
But back to Puerto Rico, I guess the whole point is, should we bail them out? Like, we're talking $70 billion. That's the question here. Like, what guarantee do we have they're not just going to run up another $70 billion?
Make a mistake.
I agree.
Oh, we'll bail you out. You got to be at the state at the same time. You think that should be the requirement?
They want to be a state. They've been begging for that for like decades. Why have we not done this?
Because the local government there doesn't want it. They know that their power requires them to be in this quasi-state.
Well, fuck the local government. Make them a fucking state already.
That's how I feel about Mexico too.
If they,
I don't think Mexico should be a state.
One of two things, in my opinion, has to happen. If we're going to pay it off, either one, they got to step up and become the 51st state of America and take on all the rights and ability. I mean, they've got the population that's bigger than Alaska, and they've got more surface area than Rhode Island. At the very least, they could be a state, okay? Or if they're not going to, cut them loose. Zero them out, say, thanks for the fish, have a nice day, and send them on their way. Because either they got to be part of the whole shebang or part of none of it. And honestly, I don't think that they have the ability to survive on their own. But if we're giving them a $70 billion severance package, then you know what? I think we can let them go with a clean conscience. I'm not sure if I lean towards making them a state or sending them out. I think that probably making them a state would be the least complicated of the two, though. Any other thoughts on this?
Make a mistake. That's all I got to say.
I'm 100% with you.
All righty. Let's see what was next on the list.
I will have to say, though, not to cut this short, but I do have to get going. I apologize for joining shortly and leaving, but...
Oh, no, it's okay. Glad you stopped by.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I might be able to join back, but either way, you guys have a good night. Thank you for having me on the stream. Sorry I interrupted.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
No problem. Anyway, I think we're moving on to the topic you wanted to talk about, Gwendy. Citing religious freedom, Trump backing off Obama-era rules.
Yeah. Oh my god, this made me so angry. I was like all kinds of SJW angry on Twitter. I got super mad about this. Oh, man.
I mean, the main thing that, as you said, that most people are getting ticked off about is basically saying if you have a religious objection, you do not have to provide birth control for anyone who's under your health care plan.
Right.
And that's pretty much what everybody's flipping out about.
Yep. For damn good reason.
Now, the big question I have here, though, is how much does birth control actually cost?
Without insurance,
Yeah.
depending on the kind of birth control that you receive, you're looking at anywhere between $50 to almost $1,000.
A month, I assume?
No, not a month. Per month, you're looking between $50 and $300, depending on the kind that you need.
Gotcha.
The IUDs, you're talking into the thousands.
Gotcha.
Those products aren't cheap.
No, I understand. I mean, on there's one hand where I look at it from my history of working in banking, where I go $50 to $300. Basically, what you're saying to employers, you can give your employees a very specific, limited pay cut. That's really how I see it, because, you know, I spent a lot of time working at banks and I always translate everything back into money. On the other hand, I do agree that, you know what, I understand we should probably we're having problems replacing our population, and I could see the whole desire to like saying, hey, go out there and have some kids.
No,
but
I gotta cut you off because that's not the problem. That is absolutely 100% not the issue. Do you understand that there are medical reasons for why people are on birth control?
Oh, no,
not just because we don't want babies.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that too.
Okay.
But there's the other hand where it's like, how many people is this actually affecting? Like how much is, well, I mean, yeah, but how much is a lot? Are we talking 40% of women, or are we talking like 20% of women? And if it's affecting all of them, okay, maybe that's a big savings. But if it's only affecting like 20, 15, 30, if it's not that much, then why the hell bother? I mean, basically what you're talking about is, I mean, it's only $50 to $300 a month. How much? I mean, that could be a substantial amount, but not how much really is it to the average employer, you know?
Well,
and there's the ethical reasons for it too.
Well, number one, you're technically telling an entire like subgroup population of your employees that your health is not nearly as important as the ones with penises between their knees. So that, number one, pisses me right the fuck off, because fuck that shit. Number two, the fact that a majority of women, and I want to say, I'm throwing numbers off the top of my head, so please don't quote me. You can source me on this and check it, but that's fine. I know a lot of girls that have like PCOS, where you get cysts on your ovaries and shit, or they just have extremely heavy menstrual cycles, or they get severe cramps to the point that they can't get out of bed. I've had those, and that sucks. But what helped it was birth control. Because what that immense amount of estrogen does is it helps regulate your flow. It helps regulate all that good, happy horse pucky down between our legs. But without it, I, honest to God, would be stuck in my bed once a month for at least 3 days and not be able to work. So would you rather, pay a little bit extra so that you have a productive employee, or lose half of your employment base for 3 to 5 days a month because we can't get the fuck out of bed? Pick.
No, I mean, valid points. Valid points. I think what we need to do most importantly here is to see what actual effect it has. Because businesses usually are very practical. And if they can, if I know there's probably a lot of businesses as unethical reasons we won't give out birth control, but there's probably a bunch of businesses that'll go out there and say, unlike those retards over there, we'll be more than happy to pay for your birth control. Heck, we'll even cover the copay. Come on over. That's how great we are. It creates a bargaining chip for other companies in some ways. I think that, however, you're also talking to somebody who's trying to be neutral on this to some degree, because my wife can't have children. It'll kill her.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I understand that.
And, so in her case, you're right. It's a medical necessity. Without the birth control, she could die. Like, and
Well,
that's
I'm the
not,
same
that's
way.
not, that's not even a little bit of a joke.
No.
Death, you know, if
I'm literally like almost not near to the severity of your wife. I'm almost in the same boat. I almost died when I had my child. Like, we both almost died. I want more kids someday, but I am so scared of having to go through that again, because that was, honest to God, like the worst 9 months of my entire fucking life. My child was worth it, but holy shit, fuck. So I would rather not risk that and be on birth control and still be able to have sex if I want to, because I'm a fucking adult. Seriously, come on. And even then, condoms are only 85% effective, whereas an IUD, like the Mirena IUD, is 99.8% effective. I think I'm going to take my chances with that IUD.
Personally, I think it's a bad idea. I think it's been pretty much established in the United States, and I understand there's going to be a year delay or whatever, but on a personal matter, for my personal reasons, I have to go knee-jerk emotional. This is dumb. This is really dumb. I really disagree with him. However, when I try to step back and try to look at it from a logical, you know, cold, unemotional, dollars and cents kind of way, there's part of me going, I got to agree with the whole principle that deregulating things is good. So that's why I'm mixed. On one level, I'm for, and then I got to go, bleh. So
I can agree with you to an extent on deregulation, only a little bit, because I tend to be more you know, liberal leaning, whatevs. But it's not even, to me, it's not about that. To me, what I've read, what I understood, is that it's about like your religious freedom. How the fuck does your religious freedom determine whether or not I live, whether or not I can go to work? How is that okay? That's fucked up.
No, you have a point. You know, I'm not sure, you know, I mean, but then we get into, well, then why don't we word it so your religious freedom matters unless it's a medical necessity? Well, then what's a medical necessity?
That's exactly the point.
You know, and then you go, hey, well, wait a minute, it's not medically necessary for you to have sex. And, you know, it goes round and round, and it may be a gray area, but I would prefer to err on the side of caution in this case myself. That's just where. After conception, I don't think we should be paying for anything. But before conception, yeah, anything that prevents it, yep, I'm okay with that.
Right, like I'm totally fine with the concept of preventing more children that are not wanted, that are put into homes that are not very good, not stable, not healthy environments for children, or being shoved into the adoption system, because that's so fucked up, and a whole other can of worms that we're not going into. Personally, what I've decided is, first chance I get, I am making my appointment with Planned Parenthood. I'm getting a fucking IUD for the stupid 10-year one, and I can ride this whole damn thing out. That is what I'm going to do, because fuck that shit. Which sucks, because I really want more children, but I'm not willing to risk that. Nope.
Any other questions? Comments or concerns?
I'm sorry, I feel like I dominated that. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. That's why it's called Eldritch Rants, because we rant.
I know, it makes me so angry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, this one gets a little dark here. Danish police find severed head in Kim Wall submarine case. I mean, I just read that. I have, to be honest, I really don't understand the case at all, but I just saw that they found a severed head in a submarine, and I'm just like, we got to talk about severed head in a submarine.
What? Was it, okay, whose head was it?
Danish drivers found the decapitated head, legs, and clothes of a Swedish journalist who was killed after going on a trip with an inventor on his submarine, police said Saturday. Although when I'm looking this over, I'm like going, haven't you found the guy? Because this is the part that gets me. Wall's cause of death hasn't yet been established. I don't know. Maybe cause of death was head removal. But they're like going, was it the head removal or the arm removal? Or was it the 15 stab wounds in the torso? I mean,
well, you said they only found the head, the arms, and the clothes, right?
The heads, the arms, and the clothes, and they found a headless torso back in August. So they were trying to piece things together. No pun intended. Yeah.
Oh
Bad
no.
turn of phrase
Not
here.
too much
Oh, wait,
alcohol
no,
in
I'm
that.
sorry. They do have them. They are deciding whether or not they're going to put him up for manslaughter charges. Part of me is sitting there and going, what the hell is this? You got tortured, decapitated, and murdered. They have
And you want to slap him with manslaughter? Are you shitting me?
They have videos, which the defense is going, oh, those aren't real.
What?
What the hell?
What?
Yes. I mean, this is the ultimate of, wasn't me. But we got you on the camera, wasn't me. And we had it on and you chopped her up on the sofa, wasn't me. And you played hockey with her head, wasn't me.
I'm gonna cry. No.
I'm sorry, but you have a dismembered torso. And he said where somebody
It's
indicates
fake.
the reasons why he stabbed it was just to let the air out of the body so it wouldn't float.
What?
What?
I panicked. You panicked, so you dismembered him and tried to sink her body? What the hell?
I guess the thing is that they have to figure out what she died from, and even then, I still want to know why the fuck he chopped up the body.
Well, he kind of panicked
Easier
and just thought
disposal?
people would blame him for her dying. And it's like, well, yeah, you're on a submarine and you've got videos of you torturing and murdering her.
Oh my god.
And you're cutting off her head. Why did you videotape yourself doing it? Because he wanted a memento. I mean,
What?
yeah, but it's
That's like
wasn't me,
some
not
Saw
guilty.
shit.
Not that is some next level. I mean, wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, but he said that he accidentally died when she got hit in the head with the hatch.
Accidentally died.
Yep, and so he just buried her at sea. Because, reasons.
Buried her with a knife?
He buried her with a pipe that he tied around her torso after stabbing her a couple of times to let out the air and tossed
Oh
her.
my god. I can't handle the Danish. I quit. I'm done.
I'm sorry, but this is next level fucked up. That's why I had to talk about it. I mean, it's sad, but there's the part of
gosh.
wasn't me. No, she hit her head with the hatch, man. Why did you stab her 15 times? Oh, that was after she was dead. It was just letting out the air. Just
Okay.
What? She was inflating? What? Or what? Or, did her
Well,
boobs start she
I mean,
had silicone
no,
or something?
shut up, stop.
I mean,
stop
come
it,
on
stop
now.
it.
What the fuck?
No. In all fairness, have you seen a body decompose? Because they do bloat up from all of the gases and shit that get caused in the thoracic cavity.
Okay.
And it's not pretty.
Okay, I can get behind that part, but it's like, come on.
Even
Come on.
Because we do release
Come
those
on.
gases anyway.
That's no.
You're gonna be breathing them. That's worse than having a bloated dead body.
Oh god.
And the part that really kills me is this inventor wanted to start doing manned space missions. I'm like, what is it? You have a fetish of murdering and killing people inside closed spaces or something?
He's going for a horror movie premise. That's exactly what he wants,
Oh,
man. He's
yeah.
gonna totally make his life into a horror movie, and it's gonna be big on Sundance, and then it's gonna get big everywhere, and he's gonna make all the money. Duh.
Oh, they'll let the social justice warriors do this.
Maybe someone could actually make a movie out of this guy. I mean,
Oh my
Oh,
god.
no,
I want a
wanna-
movie that used real footage.
You know what I
Oh
want to
my
do?
God.
I want to write a script for this, except I want to write it where he's the victim. I want to write it in the most positive light possible. With and I'm gonna make him I'm gonna make him transgender, secretly all sorts of this stuff. Every SJW talking point. And then I'm gonna see if I can get the script published
Don't
because
make me cry. I'm wearing mascara. This is not okay. I'm laughing too hard.
oh, there's that video. Oh, do you remember that? There's that. Oh, what was that Sundance movie about the guy who was marooned on an island and he found a corpse and It was the Swiss Army Man. That was it. And he could drive the corpse around on the sea because it farted so much.
What?
Oh yeah, that was the premise of the movie. He found a farting corpse.
Oh my god!
Used it to ride across the water. So I'm gonna work that in. Where it's like, no, this corpse farting too much. I've got to let the air out. Stab, 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 because it's creating methane, and that ruins the ozone layer, and it contributes to global warming. I'm saving the environment by stabbing this woman 15 times in the chest. That's my script.
Wonderful.
That's my script.
You need to write.
I would watch it. I would watch that.
I mean,
fund it.
We'll do a Kickstarter. I will start a Kickstarter for you.
Kickstarter where it's like, I got to come up with a name. No, I don't know.
Or a GoFundMe.
We all live in a murder. We got to have the theme song from the Beatles. We all live in a yellow submarine.
No! Oh my god. Wait, no, can it be animated? Because that'd be better.
Oh yeah, we all die in a yellow submarine.
Total surreal, like, animated film. I would watch the fuck out of that.
Oh, we have our dream project. We have our dream project. Oh my
yes.
God. But the thing is it's got to be so pro this guy, so defending him. This man who is completely indefensible. We must defend him. And then I have this weird feeling that if we actually got anywhere, that it might actually get social justice warriors supporting it. Like I've got to, yes, because I got to start talking in a lisp as I describe the because
stop.
This is not just my experiences. It's not just about this poor man who is being singled out for his terror. The terror of being falsely accused, but also I empathize with him as well, and I knew that I had to do this story. It just sang to me. It sang to me like a siren song, like mermaids on a rock. They sang to me, and I must do this video. And but they will be transgender. They will be transgender mermaids in the movie, of course, because
and I'm as a here, you'll lose your fandom.
Oh my god!
The only problem we have is that it's a white man, so we're going to have to replace him with probably a black woman who wants to be a man. So that'll work.
But then the SJWs would still say that it's a man, so you might want to make it a trans woman.
Excellent suggestion. Let's go with that. Anyway.
No, it's gonna be like a guy that in his own bedroom, like in the closet, dresses up like a woman. There you go.
In the closet.
He's too ashamed to come out. So this is his way of coming out, is by acting out. Shit, I almost fell over. Oh god. I'm not sober enough for this, guys. You can't do this to me.
Understand. Oh my god, this is just we shouldn't be laughing. This is a terrible, horrible thing that happened to a person, but just dear god, how do you even deny the charges? How do you even say you're not guilty? How do you
there's too much evidence.
I mean, oh my god. I mean,
was there anyone else on this submarine?
No,
it was just him and this one chick
on a 40-ton, 18-meter long handmade submarine, which I'm assuming that he handmade it, so he has like his secret torture room or something.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Like, and how did you?
Oh my god!
I mean, how did he imagine he was going to get away with this? You know, just come back to shore. Nope, she got off while we were gone. But you only left for 2 days, and you came right back. Oh well, you know, about halfway through, she got sick and tired of the cramped space, so she left.
And where did she go?
Where did she go? Oh, she got off on a nice flow. She said she was fine. So, you know, I wanted to respect her boundaries.
Do not stop. Oh my god, I can't handle you.
Well, shall we move on past the severed head?
Before I die. Okay, I'm good. Whew. Whew. Gotta calm down.
Okay, something funny or something serious?
Let's do something serious. I need to stop laughing for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Okay. Well, let's see. There's the latest suicide bombing in Pakistan.
That's
25 dead.
How sad.
I'm sorry, 24. This is the problem. My problem isn't the killings. I mean, it's terrible. It's horrible. But the thing is that stuff like this disappears when something wacky happens in America. This is another ISIS attack. And I'm beginning to believe the whole thing in Vegas was set up by ISIS. ISIS is trying really hard to prove.
They found no evidence of that, though.
Yeah, well, no, ISIS has been supplying stuff to the FBI. And the FBI is like, we're evaluating their evidence. So the FBI hasn't come right out and said, yes, this is true that he was recruited 6 months before he did it. But there's so much circumstantial stuff that I'm like, okay, nope, we're gonna wait and judge later. We're not gonna jump to conclusions. But the part that makes me think something's up is the media is also saying we're not going to jump to conclusions. The media always jumps to conclusions. It is their defining trait. They jump to conclusions. So if the liberal left-leaning media is going, let's wait and see what happens, that's when I start going, that's a little out of character for you, sir.
Especially considering it's a white man. You'd think that they would be all over attacking him.
Yeah. Although his psychological profile, it really seems to fit that last old white man who shot up a baseball field in order to get a senator. So, yeah.
That's so messed up, though.
Yeah, I'm leaving it up in the air. I'm hoping he's just batshit insane. I'm hoping that's the case. But he's got the typical narcissistic profile. Usually people who are this old to do the mass shootings, it's not because it's either because they're batshit insane, but this guy planned way too much to be crazy, or it's politically motivated usually. So here's crossing fingers that he's just nuts.
So, okay, I had a slight conversation about this with my mother, who is a 54-year-old white blonde female who is probably the most centrist person you'll ever meet in the face of the planet, and honestly really hates talking about politics, but she really had to talk about this today. And I'm just laughing because she never talks about politics with me because we don't agree on anything. But she had said that she had read some article by some psychologist dude that the way that it was described was it's the concept that men don't talk about their feelings and they snap, and that's what people are claiming caused this dude to go apeshit. And I'm like, I feel like that is probably the biggest crock of baloney I've heard in a minute. Just saying. But to a degree, I can see it.
He planned this out way too much. There's way too much of a paper trail. He rented other rooms in order to determine which side of the building gave him the best angle. I mean, come on, that's not snapped. Snap.
Nah, I won't necessarily agree with you with that one, because you can snap prior to doing all this shit, and then go and plan all this shit and take your time if you're meticulous enough.
That's not how I define snapped, but okay, I can see your point.
Right. Well, I mean, snapped can be defined in several different ways, but I see what you're saying. But for me, it's more along the lines of I don't really buy into the idea that the man just suddenly woke up one day and said, I'm going to kill a shit ton of people in fucking Las Vegas because I can. I don't think that's true. The thing that really bothers me the most, okay, I'm huge on Second Amendment. I love having guns. I hunt. So I am a huge proponent of the ability to have guns because I like my meat. But at the same time, this dude passed every background check and all this other shit. He bought the guns legally. He did everything correctly. Why was nothing ever noticed on what the fuck this guy was doing? How do you not notice there's a man sitting here stockpiling all these guns, buying all these extra pieces and stuff? Because it was he used some special stock I don't remember exactly what my mother said about
stock.
It. Yep,
basically,
that's it.
Rather than make the weapon fully automatic, they get a special grip that basically causes the trigger to go to pull over and over on its own. Yes.
That's what she had said. That was right. Okay. And then all this kind of stuff. And so my mom's like, well, why can't they make those illegal? I was like, well, I don't I don't have the answers, and I feel very conflicted when it comes to talking about gun rights and things, because on the one hand, like I said, I hunt. I'm a deer hunter. I love deer hunting. I truly do. I'm a damn good shot. Do not cross me because I'm not afraid to hurt you. But at the same time, with the amount of gun violence happening in the country, I don't know what to do.
Well, as for the bump stocks, a number of Republicans, even the NRA, have been going, you know what? That's fair. Bump stocks are a modification to a weapon to make it virtually a machine gun, and that is just a way to get around the law that bans machine guns in America. So, so they're talking about the whole bump fire thing being made illegal, and I can get behind that, because anything that you should buy the gun with the automatic automatic ability, not like be able to put it on later afterwards. So
I personally don't see a need for an automatic weapon, though. Even a semi-automatic weapon. What in God's fucking name do you need that shit for? You don't. That's not self-defense. That's a crock of shit. A semi-automatic weapon or an automatic weapon is designed to mow down and kill people. It's not designed to protect your safety and your safety alone. You're going to kill large amounts of things. I don't understand the need for it. It just blows my mind.
Well, I do want to bring up
me.
I'm going to bring up something that I'm Better Than You has brought up, where he thought that he looks like he was really sick, possibly terminally ill, which is an idea which has been floated around. I don't think that they've come out with the autopsy yet, but if he did believe that he was dying, it is possible that this wasn't politically motivated. This was, you know what, I've done nothing with my life and everybody thinks I'm an idiot. I'm gonna,
go out with a bang.
I'm gonna be famous for having the highest body count in a mass shooting in America, because he's now the record holder from a single individual point of view, as opposed to an organized group.
That's almost the concept of, if I can't be famous, I want to be infamous.
Yeah, that is a possibility. Although, to be honest, it didn't seem to fit his psychological profile. But then again, I'm all for waiting. I think we should always wait to see what happens. We should wait until stuff comes out and then. But again, as I wanted to point out here, the media is doing a really good job of looking at, look at all the heroes. Look at all this. Let's go into in-depth about this. Let's talk about that.
I don't really see a problem about that, though. Like, what's wrong with talking about the good things?
It's okay to talk about the good things, except the media never does that. They never do that. They always go for all the evil.
There's a lot of fluff stories on my local news all the damn time.
Well, that's local news. I'm talking about the big cable networks, CNN, MSNBC. They usually go straight for the jugular. They're borderline, tabloids. Now they're waiting. It makes me wonder if something's up. But yeah, let's wait and see. I'm just suspicious.
Yeah.
And I'm Better Than You as, haha, down in Australia, we beat you. We had 62 killed at Port Arthur. Yes. Australia kills you more than anywhere else. You have the deadliest continent on the planet. Good job.
That's why I won't go to Australia. Everything there is designed to kill me. Why would I want to live there? Hell no. There's spiders the size of my head. Are you shitting me? Oh no. No.
Even the trees try to kill you. I think that's awesome.
No.
Any rate,
I'm gonna stay here.
Let us move on to Have-Wife.
Something funny.
Have-Wife will carry. Couples vie in wife carrying contest.
What?
In New Dream, Maine, dozens of participants are vying for cash and beer in the North American Wife Carrying Championship. More than 60 couples are registered and more on a waiting list for the annual event, where contestants carry their partners on the back in a 254-meter alpine obstacle course. They are competing for their partner's weight in beer and 5 times her weight in cash.
Okay, so who wants to carry me on an obstacle course?
I can't.
The problem, what's really even more surreal is the legend behind the event is based in Finland's Ronikin the Robber, whose 19th century gang was known to pillage villages and take the women. Also, that's why it's an alpine obstacle course. Just like this
That's so fucked up.
This is like, The winners head to Finland to compete in the World Championship.
What?
Oh my God! What?
This
This
needs
is a worldwide event.
This needs to be an Olympic event.
Yes.
I would pay to see that.
The Olympics has gotten pretty dull. So what we need is an Olympic event where couples care. They have to be legally married. You know, although the SJW used to say, why can't it be like 2 women or 2 men?
Because they can be legally married, so
Yeah.
Well, my thing is that men are usually a lot heavier, so it'd probably be kind of hard to do it the other way around. So, but that's just me.
Why don't
Hey.
have, if there's a woman in the relationship, she has to be the one that's carried. If there's 2 women, they can choose, and if there's 2 men, they can choose.
yeah, I
But
agree
then
with
they
that.
should have different
Yeah.
events for women carrying versus men carrying. And
Why? Why can't they just do the same thing?
Although I don't know if you guys saw the picture or looked at it, I love the part where the woman locks her legs around the man's neck and hangs off his back.
what?
Like a sack of potatoes?
Yeah, well, she doesn't lock them, but they're around. Usually, like, it's, you know how you might ride piggyback on somebody? They do it upside down.
Like how I carry my 5-year-old? Oh. Oh. Okay.
Because for some
Oh.
reason, having the weight higher up like that,
It's harder on your back.
yeah, but part of this is going, yes, but she spends the whole run looking at his ass. I mean,
Well, maybe he has a nice ass. Shut up. You can't
well, he's
judge.
gonna have. I'll give you that. He's probably got a nice ass if he's capable of carrying his
Maybe
wife
she wants to touch it.
a quarter of a
God.
mile. Oh,
I mean, they're married, they're adults. Let them do what they want to do. If she's into that, she's into that.
it's the
There-
North
see, there
American
you
Wife
go.
Carrying Championship. As in, there were other regional championships for wife carrying, which met.
I
in
feel like I need to look
Maine.
this up for my state now.
And now the winner will be going off to Finland. So
That's amazing.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it so much.
this one's a little sad, although a little funny. Minnesota man lived with bodies of mom and his brother for a year.
Where? Wait. Where in Minnesota was this?
A Minnesota man who lived in a house with the decomposing bodies of his mother and twin brother for about a year said he could not bring himself to report their deaths to authorities. I was traumatized, said Robert James Colfer. What would you do? Well, that was his response. My response would be, I would call the freaking coroner and say, my mom and brother are dead. Please come and take their, rotting corpses away.
Oh, but you didn't tell me where this is.
I'm
Where?
looking. I'm not
Okay.
seeing it. It just says Minnesota man.
Well, find it because I need to know. Because I haven't heard this.
Oh wait,
Because
White
I'm in
Bear
Minnesota. I
Police
wanna know.
Captain. White Bear.
Oh!
It was in White Bear.
I'm gonna die. That's literally like 10
and for
miles
Christmas
that direction that I'm pointing.
he wrote cards to his various family members and Christmas cards saying that both were in bad health and could not talk on the phone and did not want visitors for Christmas.
That, you know what though? There's a lot of really fucked up people in White Bear Lake. I will attest to this. It's pretty fucked up over there. I think there's something in the water. I blame the lake.
I like this part here. I am not some nutball, said the maintenance worker in a telephone interview. People think I am, but I'm not. I love them.
Sure, you're not.
I hope you didn't love the corpses too much. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
Does it
God.
say if he like dressed them up and stuff or like posed them or anything? I need to know this for
So
research
people
reasons.
send Christmas cards with them.
Right? Oh my god, this is too funny. I have to tell my mother this.
I'm sorry,
She's
I
gonna die.
linked for a second there. Yeah, he did repossession the bodies to make them more comfortable.
Oh my god.
Although it doesn't say what they died of when I read this. And I'm like,
Oh,
one dying in this happening I
hold
could
on.
get. Mother and twin brother? What happened that they both win at the same time? That's what I want to know.
Hold on.
Although
I
his
need to
94-year-old
Google
woman, yeah. Richard
No.
Kuefler. Klufer.
Hold on. Let me pull up Google. I need to listen. I'm damn sure. If this wasn't on the fucking news, I'm gonna shit bricks. Hold on. Okay, how do I spell the dude's name?
Let's see. It's Robert James Kuefler in White Bear.
Keffler?
Kuffler. Kuefler.
Okay.
Keffler.
Keffler. Robert Keffler. White Bear. Oh, hey, it auto-populated. Oh, shit. Alright, can I get something local? Hey, Star Tribune, pull up for me. Oh my god, that's super fucking funny. That's just super fucking... I don't know what to do with this.
It's something to talk to your mom about, except for politics.
Damn straight.
Hey,
Right, yeah.
Hey, remember
Hey,
Robert?
Ma, did you hear about this thing?
You're about. Hey, do you remember Evelyn Kuefler? Yeah, you know she died and her body decayed, became mummified because her son refused to have her buried. Yeah, I was just wondering if
Oh, but that's from a year ago.
Oh yeah, this is
supposedly.
Well, they're just now getting around to charges and stuff. So.
Okay.
What is
okay.
the
Yeah.
charge for this?
It would be desecrating a corpse, I think. Hold on. Let me pull up the local news and see what they have to say about it. If it will pull up. Let's see. This is one of the joys of being, like, living here. This is just super funny to me. Like, I'm gonna die laughing, because it's just hilarious. It's even funnier because they were talking about how, like, the lake over there, like, White Bear Lake has been having a lot of problems with, like, chemicals getting in the water. So I'm not horribly shocked by this. Huh. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, wow.
Officially charged this week with interference with a dead body. Yeah, that's what he was charged with.
Any rate, anything else on this topic before we move on?
That's a really ugly looking dude.
Oh, I bet.
Oh no. Please move on or I'm gonna die.
Well. Moving on to Poland. Polish Catholics held rosaries and prayed together Saturday along the country's 350-kilometer long border, appealing to the Virgin Mary and God for salvation of Poland and the world in a national event that many felt had anti-Islam overtones. Although the only reason that is quoted in this thing is that it was held on the anniversary of a huge 16th century naval battle where the Christian alliance, acting on the wishes of the Pope, defeated the Ottoman Empire in the Ionian Sea.
Did they do it on purpose? Like, do the thing on purpose for that date, for that specific historic event?
No,
okay,
no,
then it doesn't matter.
The organizers said we picked Saturday because that's when everybody was free, and the prayers are not directed against any group.
Okay, well, then they need to shut up.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of people said they were afraid of Islam. Like that, but we're talking thousands of people did this. So, but this is just like anything that Poland does, for some reason, the media hates them. Like, and I don't understand it myself. I don't understand this hate on Poland other than, unless they're trying to get them to leave the EU. Oh, no, actually, growing up, I know how Polacks got ribbed on all the time myself.
Yeah.
But
hi, I'm Polish.
it's like it's never gone away. It's never gone away. Yep.
No, there's too many jokes.
Oh yeah, the Polish jokes are the best jokes. Polish jokes are the best jokes.
Oh, I know they are though. But okay.
I just wanted to mention that it's like, You found an anniversary of an obscure naval battle back in the 16th century and said, well, clearly they picked this day for a reason. No, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you even... Who?
No, if they came out, like if whoever organized it literally came out, and I dropped my letter, and said, no, we didn't pick this day for that reason. It's a complete total coincidence that just happens to be a thing. We literally picked this day because it's a fucking Saturday, and that was all we really cared about. Then there's no debate. There's nothing to talk about. Then you're just pulling straws for no fucking good reason, and that's so dumb. I hate that shit.
I just wanted to mention it because, Poland strong, as far as I'm concerned, At any rate, let's wrap things up with a little mention about Nate. This could be bad. Of course, speaking about the hurricane, the tracking path is looking pretty bad.
I haven't heard anything about this one yet.
Yeah, and it should be heading up towards New Orleans about now. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it either. Last I saw on the track, it wasn't going to be a direct hit on New Orleans, but that's the problem because it's skipping along on the the eastern side. That should cause some pretty bad storm surges. So here's hoping that they actually got around to rebuilding a lot of those defenses on the levees and whatnot. Fortunately, it's not expected to get over 70 or 80 miles an hour, from what I've heard.
So what is that, like a Category 1 or 2?
It's like a Category 1. Might skirt Category 2, but probably not going to be worse than the other one. So New Orleans should be able to take this fairly well. Although I do find it interesting that it will be... Hold on a sec. Yeah, it should be coming up in whacking New York when it's down to about 25 miles an hour later. So,
There's been a lot of hurricanes lately, and that's really kind of bothering me.
Well, yeah, we haven't had really many hurricanes haven't hit like America in like years. So, and then suddenly, boom, we've had like just terrible hurricanes. One
3 or
after another.
4?
Oh yeah, there's been a horrible hurricane season. But if you look at the past couple of years, it's been great hurricane seasons up until about now. Right,
but still, it's just weird.
Yeah, it seems to cluster up a lot more. I'm not a big fan of the whole like, hey, there's global warming, so we should, stop burning everything. Like the belief that we have that much power to terraform our own planet is obviously deranged. However, did we do something? I honestly believe we have. The problem is it's along the lines of kicking over a bucket of water. You've kicked over the bucket of water. It's really hard to get the water back in. It's all over the floor, soaked into the carpet. You could put the bucket right back up, but it's really hard to get the water back in. We're kind of at the stage where we've knocked over the water and the rug is ruined. Okay? We need to deal with the fact the rug's going to be ruined, not that we should yell at people because the bucket got knocked over. That's pointless at this point. We need to focus on fixing
But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't... Yeah, but that's the problem, is that nobody wants to fix anything.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yes.
All right. Any rate, I do need to wrap up some things here because I need to get back to work. I just got a call. So,
nice.
But this is the last topic. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, feel free to. Is there anything real quick? Okay. Well, then this is a good place to wrap it up because this is the last topic and everything's done. At any rate, it's been real and it's been fun. I think it was real fun today, especially since I'm going to work on that script. Any rate, I hope everybody who's been listening has a good day. You guys want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.
And as I'm better than you is always says, boobies.